Coming into this 2023 season, we've had 3 rookies: Oscar Piastri, Logan Sargent, and Nick De Vries. And out of the 3, we knew Oscar was going to be that guy, the standalone guy that has had this insane junior career winning Formula Renault, Formula 3, and Formula 2. And having this outstanding junior career, missing a year in Formula 1, causing a whole lot of drama, going from being hated to loved. This is Oscar Piastri. Now, Oscar Piastri, to me personally, was a very interesting personality coming into the sport. I didn't necessarily know too much about him. I knew he had this crazy young career, as I said, winning Renault, Formula 3, and Formula 2 all in successive years. Now, he isn't bulletproof. He lost in 2018, still finishing 9th in the championship, but came back and showed improvement and what an outstanding driver he is. If I had to compare him to any early career, I would definitely say that he is comparable to a Charles Leclerc type career. But there was one thing about him, and I don't know if everybody else felt this way, but I think it was a pretty common thing going around. To me, Oscar Piastri was boring. And by boring, I mean personality-wise. It was hard to gauge what this guy is about. But as the Formula 1 season has been continuing on, you kind of learn a little bit about the guy. Through his career, he's also been pretty bland in interviews, the way that he celebrates, the type of guy that he just kind of is. He is a natural-born driver. Literally, that's all that he cares about, is driving and how much faster he can be. In most of his questions that he's asked, he answers in the most driver-esque way you can answer in.
One thing you would sort of transmit as your, people should know about you. Are you an extrovert? You introvert? You're a quiet guy? You're a loud guy? Do you like gaming? Do you like sports? Where are you from in Australia?
I'm from Melbourne, so I'm about 10 minutes away from Albert Park.
Oh, wow, okay.
So that's an interesting fact, but yeah, pretty quiet guy, I would say.
But otherwise, what should people know about you?
I guess I'm pretty relaxed, pretty calm usually. Yeah, not much. Hopefully I can drive race cars fast. That's what I'm here for. So.
But that is something that I have come to grow and love about this guy. Now, first of all, he's an aggressive driver. In his Formula 2 career, there were many times that he was going for some dive bombs, made a little bit of contact, was very aggressive, but it is fun and fantastic to watch. So as a driver, he always had that, I guess you can say, fun personality to him. But as a person, there was not much to tell. But as this season has grown, I've come to realize something as to why we kind of found him as boring in the beginning of the Formula 1 season, and now he's becoming a lot more of a personality, having interviews with somebody like Matt and Tommy, and really coming out and just talking a lot. He even had a video with Tomo, so he's been in a couple more interviews. You see a lot more of his personality, what type of guy he is, and what makes Oscar Piastri, to me, a very, very great and lovable guy. Now, as I said, it's a season progression. He started very quiet. We didn't hear much about Oscar Piastri. Now, why is this? Well, we know about the whole entire incident that happened with Alpine and McLaren. And the big guy that stirred the pot is Oscar Piastri. Now, he stirred it for a good reason, and now this already seems like the right move. But what ended up happening was, if you don't know, from Alpine to Renault, he's been a junior for the Alpine team for many years now, and he was getting planned to be signed for the team. Fernando Alonso stirs the pot, starts the silly season, and goes to Aston Martin, so opens up the door for Alpine to sign now Oscar Piastri for the 2023 season. And what does Piastri do? He hits him with the, already signed a pre-contract with McLaren. I ain't going to Alpine. They announced this without my rights. I ain't coming here. Sucks to suck. Hits Alpine with that, fat in the face, goes to McLaren. Now, to go to McLaren, they had to take out a driver, the smiley driver, the guy that makes us all happy, Daniel Ricciardo. Now, it's hard to not like Daniel Ricciardo. It is very, very hard. In my personal opinion, he's a great driver, he's a great guy, he's got a great personality. So when some kid that's pretty boring, pretty mellow, straight faced the whole entire time, you're like, who is this guy? Is he worth it? Is he really that type of guy? Because personalities do play a factor. That is some part of Formula 1. It is some aspect of it, the drivers, the personalities, how they are, how they do in the car. Now, we know this guy's great. He's got a great pedigree. Do we know that he's going to be greater than Daniel Ricciardo? Well, I mean, it's not hard to top how good he was in McLaren. Sadly, it was a struggle to watch him in McLaren, but past years, Ricciardo is Ricciardo. He's a beast. And I still don't think Oscar Piastri is to that level, the Red Bull level, but he has already come to show some big time improvements. But because of the whole drama, a whole entire thing of losing Daniel Ricciardo's seats and him actually leaving the Alpine team on such a weird notice, he had to kind of go under the radar. And I guarantee this is discussion with agent Mark Webber. Mark Webber is obviously the driver that drove with Sebastian Vettel in Sebastian Vettel's 4-year win span. A great driver, but the agent for Oscar Piastri. Probably give him some advice, stay in the low a little bit, make yourself known, let your driving do the talking, because a lot of people had a lot of words to say. I was part of it. I was like, is this guy really worth it? Was it worth it for them to do this? Clearly, in hindsight, when you look at it, you're like, I'm not sure. But now it definitely makes sense. Oscar is that guy. He is a phenomenon, talent, and definitely deserves that position, especially in a good car. Almost getting a podium, and I guess if you consider the Spa Sprint podium. So stays pretty quiet, but as his progress and results start getting bigger and bigger and bigger, we see him on memes, we see him speaking, we see he's actually a pretty funny guy, but yet again, through all this, he is just a racing driver, and that's all he speaks about is racing. That's something to love. I mean, when you really look at Max is very sarcastic, but the guy is just a driving machine. They even like the same track, that being Spa. A lot of personality traits between Piastri and Verstappen to me are very similar. Even driving styles are pretty similar in the oversteery kind and being very aggressive on their overtakes and on the track. I mean, this guy really does have potential to be a world champion, and it is something that I very much would love to see out of Oscar Piastri. His potential is there. He's been showing it in the car. I would love to see him on a podium this year. And can he do it? Well, on tracks like Suzuka, I think that's where that podium will come, because this McLaren car will thrive. Zandvoort should also be a pretty good track for McLaren, but I expect other competitors like Mercedes, Ferrari, and Aston Martin to all be pretty strong at Zandvoort. But that is the next track coming, and I'd like to see what he can do with the whole Dutch army throwing it down for Max Verstappen. Can he perform there? It'll be an interesting track for him. All in all, I have been very excited, and I very much have come to love the character of Oscar Piastri. I was thinking about the 3 rookies coming into the year. He was probably my least favorite out of the 3. Now, personally, but I don't feel that way anymore. I actually like him the most. Well, we don't have Nick DeFries anymore, but I like him the most out of the 3, and I think that him being in the sport is actually another personality that I like. I like his passion for the sport, and I'd like to hear your guys' opinion on it as well, because Oscar's a one of a kind. I think it'll be very fun to see him progress throughout the whole entire season, and I really do feel that whole entire hateable to lovable is very accurate for a guy like him. So I'd love to hear your thoughts down below. Please leave a like, subscribe. It would mean the world, and peace.